From Lake Malawi we drove into Vatsa National Park, where we saw elephants on the lake. In Grata Bay we relaxed for a few days and saw a monitor lizard in Cape Maclear. We left finally Lake Malawi to the Shire to visit Liwonda National Park, where we damaged again our car, and in Lengwe National Park we saw our first nyala. After a pottery, the last stop in Malawi, we went to Zambia to the Luangwa River, met a couple from Lusaka, made a boat trip on the Zambezi, and were frightened by a poisonous snake. As a farewell, we visited the Victoria Falls and Zambezi River. Over a bridge we went to Namibia. Immediately after the border into Namibia, specifically in Katima Mulilo, we set up our tent at the Zambezi. Everything is organized so properly, we believe we have left Africa. Our journey continues west through the Caprivi Strip on smooth tarmac. The route is over 100 kilometers straight. A few years ago, this was a dirt road, which at that time was a challenge. But soon we turn off because we need an accommodation for the night. On the Kwandu River we find a place to stay. We are surprised by the price. Camping is not necessarily cheap. But it's only for one night, because we want to visit a traditional village called Lisawi. In the village we see women as they grind grain. A young man leads us around and shows us a traditional mousetrap.
So this is the mousetrap. So to operate this trap, I need to find a pumpkin seed like this. So before I use it, I may roast it on fireplace to get smell. After then I fix it on a stick like this, so that in the evening, when it's dark, I lay a trap like this. So once the mouse, when they'll be very active, during night time they will try to pass across here, either that side, in order to disturb the grains that side. When they pass that side, it will quickly smell up a seed which I trapped that side. So it won't concentrate about the grains, it will just come straight forward in order to pick up the seed, because they like very much pumpkin seed than grains. So once it pick the seed there, it will make some movement on a stick here, which will let the trap to fall. So like this, it will pull the seed here, therefore the stick here, it moves. So that you see now, and then it falls. So now we listen from the medicine man. Maybe he has anything to tell us about the dance.
We must wait now what the medicine man found out, especially waiting for the translation.
Nakutumira kwa genda wange Yohana ni wana mtenya kira na wakwata mnyara paya omuheamu yani.
He's saying he's very happy about receiving visitors this morning visiting this village. So on behalf of the dance, he's saying it is not for treating for any patient. Therefore, he's busy investigating on behalf of your journey. How have you traveled? Therefore, as it appears in his research which is holding here, it has showed him a vision that your journey has been safe and healthy from the beginning until the reach of the village. So in the village here, you would like to enjoy with everything until we come to the conclusion, so that finally you may leave the village and continue with your journey until you reach back your home places, so with no any problem to be met. Therefore, for such a reason, that's why he tried to greet you by shaking your hand, so that to welcome you greatly on behalf of your safe journey. So this is one kind of fish trap which we mostly use to catch up some fish. So this one is used by ladies in shallow water, doing like this, side by side. So once they hear noise running, something will be running. Therefore they know that is a fish. They just take it out by using this opening here. Take it out, put on a string, so that they continue again and again.
We are told that this instrument is intended to attract the hippo and used for hunting.
Just dry them on sunshine. So after, they go into the bush again where they take the different kinds of tree barks. So like now she's using a wire needle to make some holes so that the palm to go through. Otherwise, our grandmother, they were able to use the porcupine quills.
On the main street in the Caprivi, suddenly an elephant is on the road. Just incredible. After a few kilometers we turn off in Divundo to Mahangu Lodge and see the first time the Okavango. It calmly flows. Until the Okavango Delta, it is still about 200 kilometers where it stops in the Kalahari Sand. We also camp at the nearby Popper Falls. Actually, they are rapids which are formed by the Okavango here. The special feature here is that the Okavango has clear water. We move on only a little bit because it is already 2 days before Christmas and we do not want to wander around like Joseph and Mary. The lodge is situated idyllically on the Okavango River, overlooking Angola. We find this a good place to spend Christmas and New Year too. corners of Opikopi Rest Camp. The site is idyllic and the owners are nice people, but we do not yet know that we will spend almost a year here. At the campsite we discover a chameleon. Suspicious, it turns its eyes in all directions. The coloring is adjusted to the background, but not only that, but the mood of the animal can be read from the color. On Opikopi we get acquainted with the German Namibian Katrin, who runs the porcupine camp near to Kamanyap. We go to visit her. The rest camp is situated in beautiful countryside. The lodge is simple with tents and has a campground. The speciality here are porcupines that live in the wild, but at night, if they want, go in for a snack. We want to see this, of course.
Are hollow.
Katrin tells us much about their so-called children, as she calls the animals. She shows us the different species of stings which these pretty animals have on their backs. We sit with her with coffee and cake and quite forget how fast time goes by. It has become dim and Katrin has quickly spread the food and turned on the radio because they are used to it. Now we have to wait. Once it is dark, the first porcupines appear. They look cute and are surprisingly not very shy. Katrin must provide more food because they have huge appetite today.
Behind on the chair,
It does not take long and there are several at the feeding station. They are surprisingly large. We thought they were much smaller.
White birds, there are hard birds, and these birds are based so if you get contact with it. Porcupines are runaway animals. That means if they hear a sound
When there is food, there is ranking, and they fight a bit to get the largest portion, which produces a rattling
normal
noise.
and not in the nature to them, they just run away. Their enemies, lion, leopard, cheetahs, caracals, are hunting animals, and they will take part of this hunting while the porcupine run away. Porcupine are short-legged and very fast runner, but they have no quick way to stop.
It was a nice
They
evening, but we
decided
say
to
goodbye to
stop,
Katrin and
which
say
is
goodbye to Marianne and Vital. We do not yet know that we have been back here in 2 weeks. We go on the path, which means something like street. The scenery is wonderful and we come to Chorichas, where we camp and accidentally meet a couple with a Land Rover that we had met months earlier in Nairobi. Africa is small. The gravel roads are perfect in Namibia, exemplary maintained, and they therefore allow very high speeds, which ensures a fast progress. So we are also quick at petrified forest. With a guide we wander through the site. The almost completely preserved petrified trunks of a primeval forest are distributed in the landscape. They grew 300 million years ago, but not here. It is believed that they were transported by rivers. Fossilization takes place under air. The trunks were covered with sand, thus they could not rot. Then acid water penetrated into the cells of the wood and thus layer by layer became stone. Good to recognize are the annual rings. Between the trunks grow welwitschia, a wonderful plant. We drive a little further to Teufelfontein, a World Heritage Site by UNESCO. With a guide we enter the site. The rock arena is ideally situated, slightly increased between protecting hillsides and panoramic views across the savannah. The farmhouse of the former owner, dubious well, called the farmer his land, because the well bubbles only irregular. The tour around the area takes about an hour, and early morning or late afternoon should be best because of the heat. Whether the art that is carved into the rock is derived from the San or the Damara is not known. The San people, of whom one knows that they have 100 years ago rock carvings showing human and animal figures, but today they have no relation to the rock art, and their legends say that the images are made by gods. With quartz stones the engravings were carved into the sandstone. Under overhangs are actually even paintings. All kinds of animals such as lion, elephant, giraffe and rhinos are shown. In between, abstract patterns. About the motive of the representations, science knows nothing. It could be works of hunters in order to summon hunting success. A date is hardly feasible, because tools found here are from the Neolithic period. To associate the images to this period is impossible. The surface of the sandstone does not tell anything about the age, either because the environmental conditions are unpredictable here. Probably the images are between several thousand years and a few hundred years old. We enjoy the tranquility of this mystic place and the beautiful landscape in which people left their works of art, but we need to continue and set up camp at the nearby campsite. The campsite is on the dry riverbed of the Huab River, which only leads periodically water. Occasionally elephants are sighted. We have no luck. The next morning we cross the riverbed and drive on, stopping on the lonely road to catch a view of the Brandberg, a mountain range. We are on the road to Spitzkoppe, a rock formation that we necessarily want to see. Initially, the road is well, then it means crossing a river. Through the river there is a concrete foundation, so no problem. Water is not much in the river, but it becomes really bad. The river has washed away the concrete at the end and left a sharp edge. Without four-wheel, we need momentum, so I push the gas pedal. Done, but it was close. We would not want to get stuck in the river. Hardly overcome the shock, there already come the hills of Spitzkoppe in sight. We have to drive fast, because our cooling fan has failed and the engine gets too hot, when we have too little airflow for cooling. With the last strength we make it to the entrance of the camp. Now let it cool first. When crossing the river, the cooling fan motor got a lot of mud, cleaned up quickly, it worked again. We are looking a bit and drive around, find a perfect campsite at the rock. The mountains were formed by intrusion 200 million years ago when magma penetrated into the older rock layers. Wind and weather have eroded the less resistant rocks over millions of years, exposing the granite core. That there is an amazing amount of plant and animal life is due to the special weather conditions, because the clouds rain down more frequently than in lowlands. The rain collects in underground reservoirs formed from rock crevices where water is used for weeks afterwards as a breeding ground. He leaves Spitzkoppe and go on nice tar roads through desert-like landscape to Swakopmund. We do not stay long and only do a little sightseeing. The pier was built in 1911 in the German tradition. On the jetty, as it is called, there are walkers and anglers. 1884, Southwest Africa, as Namibia was then called, became a German colony, and in 1892 Swakopmund was born, because they needed a port to transport the minerals to Germany. The city looks more like a small German town than an African city. It could also be on the Baltic or North Sea in Europe. The former station, built in the Wilhelmine style, is now a luxury hotel. It was built in 1901, but soon ran out of money and was completed through a cash donation of a German privatier. It is certainly one of the finest railway buildings of its time. We leave Swakop, as it is called short, and soon find ourselves back in the desert, the Namib National Park. The scenery is magnificent, and we take our time. It is getting late and we check in at Rostock Ritz. Sounds good, but it is a simple camping amidst perfect scenery. The driveway to the front desk is several kilometers long, as is the entrance to the campground. The price of one night corresponds with the name. But nothing helps. We camp quite nice and there is hot water. The next day we go to Sossusvlei. A few miles outside the national park we camp, because of course right at the gate is far too expensive. Alexandra is waiting with Tara in front of the gate because the dog is not allowed inside. So I have to go alone, but do not stay long because it's all become very touristy. 20 years ago there was not even a national park and you could move freely. That for natural beauty one must pay should be reconsidered. The dunes are up to 225 meters high and are among the highest sand dunes in the world. The highest in China are up to 500 meters. Despite this satisfaction with the fees, I am fascinated by the scenic beauty of the desert. We are back on the road. Our next stop will be the Tiras Mountains. They are on the edge of the Namib Desert and are characterized by bright red mountains and red dunes. On the plains the grass is silver and provides a good habitat for ostriches. Again we are overwhelmed by the tremendous scenery and cannot believe that there are such beautiful places on our planet. We sit at the campsite and watch the changing of the light, and no matter where we turn our heads, we see only great nature. Tara also enjoys it, and sometimes she sits and looks into the distance as if she had similar feelings and thoughts as we do. But when her mistress returns from photo shooting, the beauty of the world is forgotten. Moreover, accompanied by a strange dog. That cannot be. There will be trouble. And there's trouble. Tara doesn't want to play, she wants peace. We are back on the road. The scenery changes from desert to grassland and again to desert until we arrive in Lideritz. We are in the courtyard of the hostel and discover two Austrians with their ancient Magirus Deutz truck. They are long-term travelers, but at the moment they alternately stay for 6 months in Southern Africa and a half year in Austria. They are funny people and we have a lot of fun with them. We drive to Dias Point, a stone cross erected by the Portuguese Bartolomeus Dias when he landed here more than 500 years ago. A 1911 built wooden walkway leads up to the cross. For us, it is just too cold here on the Atlantic and we hurry back to Lüderitz in the sheltered town. From the rock church we have a good view over the Bay of Lüderitz. 1883 the area was bought by German merchant Adolf Lideritz from a Nama captain. The background was guano fertilizer deposits. The German emperor placed the territory under German protection, but this led to conflict with the British from the Cape, because those had annexed the territory. There was never a really blossom in Lideritz. In 1950 more and more people left the city. Interesting is the former diamond town Kolmanskop. Founded by an ox cart driver, soon August Stauch, a railway official, took over who was to monitor the train here. In 1908, Mr. Levalla discovered diamonds here and Stauch immediately secured the mineral rights. Levalla worked for him and made him a millionaire with his knowledge. 1956 ended the diamond rush, the last inhabitants left the place. Since then, the desert gets house by house. We leave Kolmanskop because we go into the Fish River Canyon. The wind whips the desert sand on the tarmac. Soon we reach fertile areas and the landscape becomes greener and greener. On good gravel it's the last 70 kilometers to the canyon. We stop outside the park on a campsite so we can leave early tomorrow. Even from the distance you can see the sharp-edged Table Mountains from which the canyon was formed. Not by erosion, but by intrusion, the broad valley came into existence, through which the Fish River draws its tracks, but only the smaller portion of the canyon was formed by the river. After the Grand Canyon in the United States, the Fish River Canyon is the second largest in the world, but not less impressive. It is 161 kilometers long and its depths vary between 450 to 550 meters. Until the origin of Earth's evolution one can watch. The steep embankments of dark rock emerged in the Precambrian. 2 billion years ago these layers were sandstone, shale and lava. By folding pressure and heat they turned into metamorphosed rock. This took place about 1 billion years before our era. The dark lines that run through the rock is called magma, originated 100 million years later. After a further 250 million years ago came the phase of erosion. A lake covered the whole of southern Namibia. At its base sediments were deposited 500 million years ago. There was a reduction in the Earth's crust and the north-south valley was created by the collapse of the crust. The incision through the Fish River was only in the Cenozoic about 50 million years ago. Day trips in the canyon, even a partial descent, are prohibited as it always led to death casualties. Who wants to undertake the 4-day walk, 85 kilometers, needs a very good condition. The hike can be made only in winter. The temperatures vary from 35 degrees to an impressive down to the freezing point. There are no cabins or campsites and the hike will be notified in advance. Per day, maximum of 40 people are allowed in the canyon. We are deeply impressed and continue. Today we want to cross the border to South Africa. We inform Joachim and Tina in Cape Town that we will arrive in the coming days. But it comes different. We were denied entry to South Africa because our dog is supposed not to have the correct papers. The import permit has expired and we have traveled through countries that would be extremely dangerous. We must return. We are already on the way back to the north and no longer understand the world. We think about what we could do. We decide to drive back to Kamanyap because we know there are folks who may have an idea of how we get other papers for Tara. That means 1,300 kilometers back to Kamanyap. After 3 days we are again in Kamanyap on Opikopi with Marianne and Vital. Our old campsite is even free. We meet a couple, he a German, she a Mexican. They traveled from Mexico to South America to Africa and want to continue to Asia. They are already some years on the road. Ellie wants to cook Mexican chili for us today. Hectic is on our picnic table. Ingredients are cut, vegetables cleaned and meat prepared. To our pleasure, Traudl and Udo arrived with their dog and their vintage truck. We met them during our last stay in Kamanyap. Eva, their dog, goes straight under our camping table. Traudl and Udo are already retired and so-called winter birds. They spent the European winter in Africa, the rest of the year in Europe. We all spend a wonderful evening together with red wine and chili. The next day, a school class performed a dance.
For the children, please wake up when
Opikopi Sundowner donkey tour is offered by the owners, Marianne and Vital. We want to see this. In the early evening the tour starts with a typical donkey cart, which is also used by the population, the Damara. The guides, Elias and Reynold, are employed at the rest camp Opikopi. The income from the donkey ride will also directly benefit the employees because it is a social project. Half of the money is withheld by Vital and saved. From that, building material is purchased to build stone houses for the employees. Manpower and expertise is provided for free by Vital. Thus the employees are offered a better life because they can give up their mud huts and move in their own stone houses. With the guests on the cart, they drive through the residential area of the Damara. They stop on a hill. The last few meters guests have to walk because the path is too steep for the donkeys. Arriving at the hill, cool drinks are served and guests can admire the magnificent view and picturesque sunset. Namibia receives little rain in this area, so the donkey tour is available all year round. After sunset, the tour continues. It goes to a local disco where guests can immerse into the real Africa. Here lives the black population of Kamanya, mainly Damara and Herero. The living conditions are poor, but there is entertainment for people. With a cold beer, guests can mingle with the locals. It's wonderful to watch the rhythmic dance of the black people. Later we return to the lodge where you can spend the evening at the bar. Vital and Marianne have created a great project, and we hope for them that many guests book this interesting tour, which not only offers deep insight into the lifestyle of the population, but it still helps to improve the lives of local people. On Opikopi we get acquainted with Andrea and Volker. They invite us to Gelbingen Guest Farm. Volker operates a cattle ranch. Andrea takes care of the guests. We stay at the Gerros Park campsite in Keetmanshoop, a simple but idyllic campsite in the middle of quiver trees. The quiver tree loves rocky hilly regions. Its straight trunk opens to a surprisingly symmetrical circular crown of branches that are pointed at the ends of tough leaves. Trunk and branches are spongy, in which the water is stored. We have crossed the border into South Africa at Onsekamp. This time we were smarter and have used a secondary border crossing. No one was interested in Tara, no one wanted to see the movement paper. We pass Springbok. From now on it's just direction to the south. We drive through the Namaka country, unfortunately at the wrong time, so we do not see the sea of flowers. We make a stop in Langebaan and go with Nick and Vic on a walk to the beach. We have met them on Opikopi in Namibia. She is South African, he is an Englishman. They have met in London and drove their Land Rover from London along the west coast of Africa to Cape Town. Here they had built a house years ago and now they want to live here. We spent 2 wonderful days with them but must continue as Joachim and Tina wait on us in Cape Town. We drive into the suburbs of Cape Town and see the first time the famous Taupo Mountain. We have made it. We had driven from Austria with a 2-wheel drive camper van through Africa to Cape Town. We have traveled about 40,000 kilometers and it has taken us 1 year and 6 months. Granted, we were not the fastest. In the district of Millerton, we stay with Joachim and Tina and they show us Cape Town. From Signal Hill we can look at the Cape Town city center. The city is a large city, but completely atypical because only the center has high buildings. The center is surrounded by little towns like Milnerton, Tableflue, Bluebergstrand, Belleville, Muizenberg and others. Cape Town we like. We could imagine living here, but this is impossible because the immigration rules are strict and white immigrants are not really welcomed. Even though Nick is married to a South African and he had a good career in England, he received only a temporary resident permit. From above we see the football stadium, a remnant of the World Cup, which gave the city a decent investment boost. We admire Table Mountain, the landmark of the city. To its feet spreads Cape Town. We start to wonder, what now? We have achieved the goal and there is a certain emptiness. The trip was exciting and wonderful. It was also hard, difficult and grueling. We have traveled through 12 African countries, started with a lot of prejudices, of which none has been confirmed. We came so different cultures, have come to appreciate this, have found friends, had meetings from which we learned a lot. We were warned that Africa was dangerous. We have consistently only had good experiences. Much is worse in Africa than in the so-called Western world, but there is also much that is much better and is better organized. We need to rethink our concept of poverty, have got a different understanding of what poverty is. If we would make the trip again, of course we would. We would include the experiences that we made in a new trip and would make much different, much more organized. Yes, we would do it again. Approximately 500 days to Cape Town, it was a dream. That's it, the end. No, not yet the end. We have decided to go on. With Joachim helps, we have found it then, our motorhome. A 30-year-old Land Rover we registered on our name in Cape Town. In the workshop of Roverland it is tested and we renewed key parts as a precaution. It still needs to be converted into a motorhome, which we will make ourselves. Our plan is to drive from Cape Town to Namibia, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Mozambique, along the coast up to Tanzania and Kenya, then on Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi and Zambia, Namibia and South Africa again, and from there to ship to South America. If this plan will work, time will show.